making a nice warm kale and halloumi salad. I've got some nice tasty ingredients. So I've got some spring onions, some homegrown tomatoes, some halloumi, kale, coconut oil, some sun-dried tomatoes, pumpkin seeds and some macadamia nuts. The first thing that I've done with the veg is chopped it up nice and fine. I've got 4 of the sun-dried tomatoes and chopped them nice and fine as well. So we're going to pop a little bit of coconut oil into the pan. Just going to let that melt, so I put about a teaspoon in there. Once that starts to melt, I'm then going to add the sun-dried tomatoes. So this is going to add some really tasty summery flavours to our salad. Okay, so now the tomatoes are starting to cook a little bit, just going to give them a little bit of a stir. And then we're going to add the spring onions and the tomatoes. And then we're going to continue to cook them for a little bit. So you can probably hear them sizzling away now in the pan, starting to give off a really nice smell. So we're going to cut the halloumi just into some nice slices. These are going to go in the pan after the veg is finished cooking. And they'll soak up some of those nice flavours that should be in the coconut oil. So the tomatoes are starting to soften now. So I'm going to chuck those macadamia nuts in. I'm going to give it a nice deep flavour. I've only put a little handful in, also a good little source of protein in there. So now the veg has had a couple of minutes, I'm going to add the kale. This is just going to sit on top of the veg for a minute, almost sort of steaming as the tomatoes and the spring onions cook. The kale should absorb some of the flavour as well. I'm going to add a little ground of sea salt. A little bit over the top of the kale, and then I'm also going to give it a little grind of pepper. Then we'll give it a little stir now that the kale is starting to soften a little bit, and then we'll just leave it for a couple of minutes to cook. So the kale is looking like it's ready now. It's reduced down quite a lot. We've got almost a tomatoey sauce formed in the bottom. So I'm going to tip that onto my plate. And whilst the pan's still hot, we're going to put our slices of halloumi in. So they'll start sizzling away. We were aiming to get a nice sort of brown coat over these, and they should cook nicely in the juices from our veg. So the halloumi shouldn't take too long because our pan was nice and hot. So once they start to look like they're browning on one side, we can flip them over. Careful here so we don't want any burnt fingers. After you've turned them over, you can then pop the pumpkin seeds in, because these are going to toast nicely whilst we're cooking the other side of the halloumi. The pumpkin seeds really don't take very long, so keep moving them around the pan so that they don't burn. Okay, so our halloumi looks like it's cooked now, so I'm going to pop that onto the plate on top of the kale. And then we can just sprinkle those tasty pumpkin seeds over the top. And there we go. So we've got a nice tasty kale and halloumi salad, nice and warm as well, bursting with flavours and ready to eat.